Hello, guys, and welcome back to the FPL Duo. We're back for another stream, and we are back for the transfer tips video for Game Week 26, which is a blank game week. So yeah, let's get started. How you doing, Jordan? How's your week going so far?
Yeah, the week's going very well, and obviously the game week for the double game at 25 is still ongoing. A lot of games to play. There's actually Man City playing right now against Brentford, but we're here to talk about blank game week 26 and what players you think you should buy, sell, hold, and ignore.
Brilliant. So yeah, as you guys know, we're here to discuss blank game week 26. So first one up, I've gone with Hoyland as a buy. Now I know I've done him as an ignore for last couple of weeks. I mentioned him as an ignore, but now the doubles are sort of out of the way. I think Hoyland could be an interesting buy. He's quite popular actually. Over 147,000 of you have already bought him in. His ownership is just creeping up that 10% mark now. And obviously, we know Hoyland's been on a bit of a roll in terms of goal scoring spree recently. So as you can see, he's had an excellent few weeks after struggling at the start of the season, but he's hit some form now. And against Tottenham, he did score a goal and then got an assist. He got a goal and an assist against Wolves as well, I believe. He got a goal against West Ham, got a goal against Aston Villa, and he also scored 2 goals against Luton. So he has been scoring quite frequently now, and he's getting some double-digit hauls now. So 13-pointer, a 10-pointer, and 11-pointer in recent weeks. And he definitely looks like someone that you should be targeting, especially when you look at the fixtures. Next up, Fulham at home. I think it's a decent fixture for Man United. Man United are looking a bit better now compared to what they were, at the start of the season. They're looking like they're scoring a lot more goals, especially Hoyland seems to have found his shooting boots. And some of the fixtures I am interested in, like even Sheffield at home in 27, that could be a very nice game to own Hoyland. Everton at home is not a bad fixture as well. And then Fulham is at home as well. So a lot of home games for Man United there. In the next 4, they've got 3 home games. The only away game is Man City away. And I don't actually think that's a terrible fixture for someone like Hoyland. You never know. I wouldn't rule out Hoyland scoring against Man City personally. So I actually think Hoyland is a very good buy if you're looking at a striker. We know Darwin picked up a knock. He could be missing tomorrow. So if you've got Darwin and you want to take him out, similar price, you've got Hoyland there as well. If you want to take out Tony or anyone else, I think Hoyland definitely looks like a good buy for the next couple of fixtures. And as I said, he's improved, got the 7 goals now, and he's playing a lot better. So yeah, that is the first buy I've gone with. Let's move on to the next buy, Jordan. Who have you gone with as a buy?
Yes, this one probably isn't a surprise to many, but a lot of people are looking at Wolves' assets, and I have gone with the buy for Neto. Now, this could easily be Hwang, arguably between each other. Yeah, Hwang could potentially be better because he's cheaper, but I decided to go with Neto just to be a little bit different. His ownership is pretty low, but he is creeping up very slightly each moment that I watch. The transfers are piling up for Neto. And at 5.7 million, I think a lot of people are looking at Wolves' assets, especially for the fixture they have up next, and that is Sheffield United at home. Now, they have conceded the most goals so far in the Premier League, Sheffield, and they've been conceding 5-6 goals to teams. And I just see with this Wolves fixture next, I can see it happening again. And a part of that, I think Neto can get easily be a part of the action. I mean, he's had 3 assists in the last 4 game weeks, and he's also scored a goal in game week 22 against Man United at home. So in terms of Neto, though, he's more of a provider rather than a finisher in terms of, well, if we look at his stats, he has 11 assists so far this season and only 2 goals. So he definitely is the player that creates the chances for Wolves, and obviously gives those chances to maybe Hwang, his teammate in the Wolves squad. But yeah, the fixture that I'm looking at particularly, and I'm also considering it for me as well, definitely a Wolves asset, and I think Neto is the one to go for in game week 26. Even the fixtures after that aren't as bad. I mean, Newcastle away and Aston Villa away, I think are tricky fixtures, but maybe Neto can maybe nick an assist in those fixtures too. But in terms of that, again, there's 3 home fixtures there in 26 and 28 and 29. But yeah, I quite like the look of Neto for this week, and he's very cheap. So he's definitely money you can save on another midfielder that might be more expensive, and he's a nice differential to bring in if you're looking to go for a little punt.
Yep. I agree. I think he looks like a good buy, and he's going to be quite a popular pick ahead of this week. Well, let's move on to some players that we think you should be looking to sell ahead of game week 26. First one up, and it is Diego Jota. This one's quite an obvious one, so I'll kick it off. We know Diego Jota picked up seems like a serious injury. I think Klopp's come out and said he's going to miss a couple of months. I think he's going to be at least 2 months out for Jota, so he could make a return in around April time. So massive blow for Liverpool. As you can see, if you look at Jota's 2 goals against Bournemouth, a goal against Chelsea, blank against Arsenal, blank against Burnley, I believe. And then he got the assist against Luton as well. I think he actually got points against Burnley, didn't he? But I think he got a yellow card that game.
Yeah, I think it was an assist, but he got a yellow card.
Sorry, no, he ended up getting a 7-pointer against Burnley.
Oh, sorry, then that is a mistake in terms of the graphics. My apologies. Let me put his 7 points on there.
Yeah, he scored against Burnley. So he's returned in every game so far this season that he's played, except one game, which was against Arsenal away, which was a tough game, really. So when you take a look at Diego Jota, he's been massively important to Liverpool's resurgence sort of in the last couple of months. I think he's been Liverpool's best player in the last 2 months. 9 goals, 6 assists. He's going to be a massive blow. He's already been transferred out by 266,000 managers. If you've got Jota as a simple one, he's going to be out for 2 months. Definitely take him out. And there are a lot of options you can go to as well in terms of the midfield assets. Let's move on to another player, Jordan, that you recommend that we should be getting rid of.
Yes,
you've gone with, talk about this one.
Yeah, so obviously with the blank in 26, it seems pretty obvious that we want to sell these players, these teams that obviously have a fixture in the next week. So I've picked Richarlison, I think, because of his price, and ever since obviously game week 23, that was his last return where he scored the 2 goals against Everton. But since then, Brighton he blanked and Wolves he blanked. I just think with some back now, there is a bit more spread in the team. Richarlison's not the only obviously goal scorer now. There's obviously with some back in the team, it does give him more action up front too, which I think does take away some of Richarlison's attack. But yeah, I think Richarlison, if you had him up to this point, he's been really good for you. I mean, 10 goals, 3 assists so far this season, and I think now is probably the right time to sell him because, I mean, you could consider bringing him back, but for that Crystal Palace a home fixture. But now that I think about it, maybe going without Richarlison isn't such a bad idea, especially if you're looking to bring in another player that obviously plays in 26 as well. So that's pretty much why I've gone with Richarlison, because obviously the blank he has. But even so, afterwards, Spurs fixtures aren't so bad. Aston Villa away is probably their toughest one in the next 4. But yeah, his ownership is dropping. I think a lot of you are considering a move as well. He's 7.1 million, so it does leave you, again, a lot of money to save up and spread elsewhere, especially if you're looking to bring in maybe a premium player like Salah down the line long term. I think Richarlison's money will definitely save up for bringing that potential player in as well. But for the time being, I think he is definitely a sell Richarlison because of obviously 1 point reasoning is the blank.
Mm-hmm. Okay, interesting. So Jordan's gone with Richarlison as a sell. Let's move on to some players that we recommend you should be looking to hold. And the first one up, I've gone for a Spurs player actually, and that is Pedro Porro. Now, bear with me for a sec, guys, why I mentioned you should be looking to potentially hold Pedro Porro. And the reason because of that is game week 29 is going to be another game week when there's going to be a lot of blank game week players, potentially, right? And in game week 29, Spurs have a decent fixture, which is Fulham away, right? And if you've already got Porro, a lot of managers have sold him, over 240,000 transfers out. And I'm in a position where I'm able to actually bench Pedro Porro this week and then put him back in my team, especially for that game week 29 fixture is when you're going to have a lot of blanks. So if you can just bench him for this week and then get him back into your team, I would recommend keeping Porro for his nice fixture in game week 29 when multiple players will be blanking. and a lot of people won't even have 11 players potentially. So definitely, if you can hold on to Pedro Porro, I definitely recommend benching him and try and get by this week, because we still know he's got attacking threat. He's got 8 assists for the season. Yes, in the last 4 games, he had blanks, and then had an assist for a while, but I still would back him in that game week 29 fixture as one of the better fixtures for that week for the top teams, because a lot of the top teams play against each other that week as well, I believe. So again, for me, Pedro Porro is a hold due to that fixture in 29, and I wouldn't want to be selling him ahead of that fixture. So that's the plan with Pedro Porro, and I will be looking to actually hold on to him myself in my own team. But yeah, Jordan, let's move on to another player that you recommend we should be holding. You've gone with Palmer. Talk us through this one, because another player that has a blank this game week.
Yeah, in terms of Palmer though, because this seems a bit reverse, because obviously I've decided to put Richarlison as a sell because he has a blank, but also if we forget Chelsea do also blank as well. But for the reasons being why I think Palmer is a hold is because of, in terms of Chelsea assets, we aren't really looking at any other person apart from obviously Palmer, with 10 goals and 7 assists this season. And I feel like ever since he's come to Chelsea, he's been the main man for them, and there's no one else really I would be looking at. Because he does have the blank, though, it does make sense why you want to get rid of him. But the reason why I think you should hold on to him is because the fixtures afterwards, where I think I still see this run of form continuing for Palmer, where he gets let's say for the Crystal Palace away one, I always thought that was going to be a blank till he got his 2 assists in the last few minutes in the extra time in that game. So Palmer is an exceptional player, I think, in terms of FPL, where even though he can't create anything for pretty much the whole match, he can just out of somewhere surprise you with those, like for example, those 2 assists in that Crystal Palace away fixture. So I think he's definitely a keeper, especially if you want a Chelsea asset, and at long down the line, they will have a double as well. So I definitely want to keep Palmer for the fixtures after the blank, where he has Brentford away, where Brentford have conceded a lot of goals to teams. And Newcastle as well, defensively, they haven't looked sharp at all. Maybe the Arsenal away one is tricky for them, especially away, but that Burnley at home winning game at 30 looks all the more better. So I think there's 3 good fixtures for Palmer there, where he could potentially equalise on these goals and assists in matches. And I think you should get rid of him now when he has the blank, and don't have him for 27, 28 and potentially 30. You could be missing out on points on Palmer during that period of time. So that's my reasons for me holding him. I think 38,000 of you plus have decided to transfer him out. It makes sense if you've got a predicament of how many players you've got available, and if you've got a starting 11, you do need to sacrifice these players out. But I think at 5.8 million, we've got to remember Palmer was really cheap. He's had a lot of price rises. So if you do decide to bring him back in, it's going to be a lot more money now due to his value gone up so high due to his form. So that's one thing to think about, guys. If you're looking to get rid of Palmer, make sure you consider it long term as well. And yeah, that's my reasonings for why personally I will be holding Palmer as a Palmer owner.
Okay, nice one. Let's move on to some players that we think you should be looking to ignore. Now, these are players that managers are bringing in, but we think you could actually avoid for at least a week or 2. So first one up, I think it's an easy one, because Bradley, he doesn't have a fixture in blank game week 26. We know Trent's out injured. Liverpool play tomorrow against Luton, and I think Bradley will probably start against Luton. Still not sure, because Gomez could play right back. Maybe see what Liverpool line up with against Luton. But I will still be ignoring Bradley because he's got a blank in game week 26. So in my opinion, there's no point bringing him in. I think if you want to bring Bradley in, reassess it in game week 27. But you never know, Trent could be back soon as well. So you have to. Liverpool have a lot of injuries, as we mentioned. It looks like Nunez actually could be missing out completely tomorrow. There's rumours that he's not going to be in the squad. So we'd actually know the situation with the Liverpool injury record at the moment, because they've got so many players like dropping like flies. So Trent could be back in a week or 2. And then if that is the case, then Bradley becomes a bit of a rotation risk again. But for game week 26, definitely ignore him, as he's not got a game. So there's no point bringing him in. Let's move on to the final ignore that you've gone with, Jordan. You've gone obviously similar with another Liverpool player.
Yeah, I'll keep this really short. Yeah. I mean, obviously there's a blank for Liverpool, and even though Salah got his goal and assist in his first double fixture, which the way it went, obviously because of injuries, Salah did play more minutes than expected. So I think that contributed to him getting more game time and more opportunities to obviously get something out of that game. But regardless of the double that he has currently, he does have a blank in 26, and you don't want to be transferring him Salah when he doesn't play a fixture in the blank week. So obviously he's better to bring in when he has a fixture, which is not the Forest away game at 27. If you're looking to bring Salah back in as soon as possible, if that goal and assist has convinced you enough, then yeah, I'm happily would recommend bringing him in 27, but definitely not for 26.
Okay, lovely. So can you just recap the 8 players that we've gone with there, Jordan?
Yeah, so first of all, let's go for the buys. So we've decided what we think you should buy: Højlund and Neto. The players we think you should sell are Diego Jota and Richarlison. The players we think you should hold on to in your teams is Pedro Porro and Palmer. And finally, the players we think you should ignore is Bradley and Salah.
Okay, excellent. So those are the picks that we've gone with for the buy, sell, hold, and ignore series. Let us know what you guys think in the comments below. Also in the chat, do you agree with us? Do you disagree with our picks? Let us know. Also, guys, if you are enjoying the content, please do smash the like button and make sure you are subscribed to the channel as well, so don't miss out on any of our content. And yeah, I think that's it from us. I think Man City obviously are playing right now. I believe it's just half time. I believe it's 0-0 as well. So
That's pretty good for Brentford.
Yeah, I think Bernardo Silva actually missed an absolute sitter, as far as I can see, what I heard. So yeah, 0-0. So we're going to go ahead and we'll go watch that game and keep up to date with it. But obviously there was some news about KDB being injured, as well as not injured, being on the bench, arrested, I believe. And then Ake is also on the bench, which again is bad news for both of us as owners.
Yeah.
But I'm not surprised, as I did say he's probably going to miss this one.
We all thought, he would miss one of the games, and turns out it's the Brentford one.
But yeah, guys, thank you for watching, and we'll be back on Thursday for the team selection video. Okay, so take care. Thank you, guys, and we will catch you soon.
Yeah, take care. Enjoy the football.